What's going on, runners? Today I want to talk about the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Peachtree Road Race, the 10K that happens in Atlanta, Georgia every July 4th, Independence Day in our country. And I want to talk about this race because as an Atlanta native, it's a race that I've run many times. And it is probably one of the more iconic 10K races that happen in the world. It is a large event routinely with over 30,000, 40,000 people that go to the event. And it is a unique course and it's a challenging course. It's in the city of Atlanta, so it's scenic. It's a great destination race. It's over a holiday weekend, which is normally a lot of fun, or during a holiday, which is normally a lot of fun. But it is a challenging course. And so if this is your first time running the Peachtree Road Race, or if you are looking to make a PR at the road race, I'm hoping I can talk a little bit about it and give you some tips, some thoughts to help you do a little bit better in the race. Now, you should always be careful who you take advice from. I am a long ways away from being an elite runner, which maybe is helpful because I can give you some thoughts on what it's like from just an amateur's perspective. I have, however, finished in the top 1,000. I think 3 times at the Peachtree Road Race, where you get these cool souvenir mugs if you finish in the top 1,000. So that's a pretty cool souvenir for us amateur racers out there. So hopefully I have some thoughts on how you can run your fastest at the Peachtree Road Race. Now, to start with, the challenges of running in Atlanta is that it is a place where we talk about the hills, the heat, and the humidity. And on July 4th in Atlanta, even with an early start to the race, you're going to experience all those things: hills, heat, and humidity. For the heat and humidity, I'm not going to talk a lot about that. That's stuff that you have to kind of think about doing. Maybe I can make a separate video on it on your own time. But what I want to talk most about is the hills that you're going to experience in the Peachtree Road Race, because I think that is what makes it rough. And I just realized that I wrote road race wrong here, so I'll have to fix that. But, okay. So, let me give you a little bit of overview of the road race and to give you some places where I think a couple tips can help you have a more successful day. Now, the race starts in Buckhead, Atlanta. It starts right near where the Atlanta malls are. And for the first mile of the race, it's slightly uphill, but when you run it, it's not going to feel uphill. It's going to feel fast, depending upon where you start. If you are slower than you want, it's because there's crowds and you'll be navigating through the crowd. But for the most part, if you're up towards the front or in the middle, you'll be able to run at the pace you want to. And so technically, it's kind of uphill as you start running south on Peachtree Road, but it's going to feel flat. So your first mile is going to feel pretty fast, it's going to feel pretty quick. But then what makes the Peachtree Road Race interesting is right after the first mile marker, all the way until just before mile 3, you can see this. It is a severe downhill drop. So you're literally going to be flying during the beginning of the Peachtree Road Race. You'll be going down Peachtree Road the whole way until the very end. You're going to, after your first mile, you're going to make a turn to the left. You can go down the hills, past the churches, past the holy water, and you'll be bombing down these hills. And you can see it's a very steep gradient. And this is a place where you can go very fast. You can go too fast, and then you'll suffer for it later on, but you can definitely go much faster here because of the hills. And the way I would think about it is that you're going to run faster than your goal pace during this section of the race, but you don't want to run faster than your goal effort. So let your effort kind of be the effort that you would need for your main pace, but just know that it's going to be faster. It should be faster than your goal pace in order for you to hit it because you're going down these steep hills. Now, where the course gets interesting is right around mile 3. Right around when you hit the 3rd mile marker for the last 3 miles of the race is where Peachtree Road is going to claw back all the gains that you made. It gave to you, you're going to be feeling good here, and then you're going to hit these points. Now, everybody always talks about Cardiac Hill at the Peachtree Road Race. And Cardiac Hill is this hill right here, which happens right around mile 3.5. And it's called Cardiac Hill because at the summit of the hill, on the right-hand side, you have Peachtree Hospital. And so, the hospital, and they just associate that with the Cardiac Hill. And you can see it's a steep hill, right? It's a 6% grade on average for a little over 400 meters. But before that hill, you have what I call fake Cardiac Hill, which is a much longer half mile at a 3% grade. And so going into Cardiac Hill, you're first shocked after coming downhill with fake Cardiac Hill. And then after that, you hit the main Cardiac Hill. Now, personally, I don't think that's the most challenging part of the course. I think you're going to have the energy and the momentum coming off the downhill section of the Peachtree to get over fake Cardiac Hill and Cardiac Hill. Where I think you need to focus the most on is when you get to the Midtown Hills. And this is right around just before mile 4.5 and right up mile 5. This, I think, is the hardest stretch of the whole course. It's this 1 mile combo right here from mile basically 4 to mile 5. This is where I think you need to dig and focus your hardest on running a good mile stretch because you're hitting these two hills. You can see the steepness of the hills, 4.5% for 0.4 miles, and also 2% for 0.4 miles. But the challenging thing about them is that these hills are coming after you just get beat up on Cardiac Hill, and they come real successfully. They come right after one another, and there's not much recovery between them. And the secret for these hills is just to not be surprised that they're coming. A lot of people think after you hit Cardiac Hill, that's the end of it, but you're not. You actually have these two other hard hills to come about. And so if you keep that in mind when you run the race, if you keep in mind that what I'm trying to do is to get over Cardiac Hill, but I'm really preparing for the Midtown Hills, right around miles 4 to 5, that can put you in the right frame of mind, and you won't be surprised by the more hills that you're going to face. A lot of people think that they're done when they get over Cardiac Hill because that's all everybody ever talks about, but it's not true. The hardest section is when the roads, when you hit right around mile 4 and the streets start getting numbered, when you start counting down from 16 to 15 to 14 before you ultimately take a left onto 10th Street and head towards Piedmont Park. Now, once you get over Midtown Hill number 2, once you get past mile 5, your last 1.2 miles of the course you can see is net downhill, and it's fast, especially towards the very end. So if you can work hard at a maximum effort to get over these hills, you have the benefit of gravity and the grade the next mile. And if you know that, if you remember that, then you can push a little bit harder on miles 4 through 5 because you're going to be able to get the advantage of the course to help pull you to the finish the last mile. And if you can keep in mind that right after you get mile 6 and your body's exploding, your lungs are screaming, your legs are aching, just know the last 0.2, the last lap around the track is a real steep downhill. And you can really just open up and fly and claw back so much time that you have inevitably given back on fake Cardiac, in the Midtown Hills. So that's just an overview of the course. Just know you're coming to Atlanta on July 4th. You're going to have an awesome time. It's an amazing city. It will likely be hot. It will likely be humid. And there are most certainly hills. But if you keep in mind that there are more hills than just Cardiac Hill, and that Cardiac Hill isn't going to be your biggest obstacle to achieving your best time that day, it's actually going to be this Midtown section between 4 and 5, recognizing that there are 2 hard hills to climb. But if you give that maximum effort for 4 to 5, knowing that you can have the course help pull you down miles 5 to the end, that's how you can set yourself up for an awesome Peachtree Road Race. So hopefully this is helpful, and I wish you guys nothing but the best chasing your Peachtree Road Race running goals.